Okay, I can't remember. Oh, this is even worse turnout than last time. I thought it was Sunday morning. I know people got better things to do, but I thought we might get bigger numbers than on Wednesday. So, who was there? Steve, you were there. Victoria, I don't think you weren't. What about Natasha? Okay, so sorry, Natasha, we were going to go over some stuff before, but as I said, we'll skim over this. So I've got my first group tutorial meeting up on YouTube, and also you can find it underneath the website. I don't know if has anyone checked it out on either location. Obviously, there was no need for Natasha to do it. And this one will be the same thing. So in part 2, this is really me using this session as a second opportunity for hi Seb, second opportunity for you to have as a come together as a complete tutorial group. So if you haven't seen it yet, go and watch the not now, but go and watch the modeling tutorial part 1. That it happens to be the icebreaker we did happens to be the same as what we are doing as a project, so we can kind of skim over that anyhow. So you can find that by googling Ian Barton. Make sure you put CEng on the end, otherwise you might end up either checking out a South African doctor or a Worcestershire actor. That's not me. Or even the UE website. So you need that one. You scroll to the bottom and then scroll right and you find TMA7. So the purpose of this one is to introduce the modeling problem, which we actually did at the last tutorial, because it happened to be the same as the icebreaker. So the first modeling tutorial, we gave an example of what we think is a feature list, so anything that could be relevant to our modeling problem, and these features could end up as an assumption, a variable, a parameter, something that was going to end up in our model, and also something that we might discard, but we would maybe make a note of it possibly when we do our second iteration of the model, that you would then want to then discuss it at that point. So today students should know that they've been allocated into a subgroup, modeling group, and that these groups should start to work together, and you should start as initial point using the forum, and you should do a hello. So we've got 3 groups. And what we're going to do now is check them out. So this is obviously a tutor's website, so it's going to be different to how you're going to find things, but tutorials is where we are today. So you've scrolled down and you've found the tutor group room. I wonder if there could be people in the module Y room. Might be worth having a look. No. So there was no one there. And the next one to look at is under, yeah, that's what confused me about Victoria's. Look under forums. So this can be also found under your modeling activity. So we've had 2 posts. And we've got Victoria there. So this is Group A. Do you prefer being called Victoria? Thomas. Got Jan. Johan. Thomas again. And let's have a look at this post, see if there's any others. Tom, Jan, Johan again. Okay, so if we go back to the presentation. So we are looking for Reese. So I need to chase him up in Group A. Okay. Group B, so Natasha, that's your group. So I switch to Group B here. But I think for you it'll be automatic. So there's Sophie, Natasha, and anyone else here? Oh no, just you two. Right, so that's quite a few people to chase up there. So we've got Marcus, there's currently a no-show. Yvette and Jonathan. Right, so let's have a look at Group C. Okay, there's Stephen. He's done the activity. Maybe I started a new post. That's my post. And what about hello? Seb. Stephen again, Seb. Catherine. Okay, so that's that. So we are missing Matt and Christopher. So the winner of the most engaged group is Group A. In second place we've got Group B, and coming up last, Sophie and Nat, is Group B. Okay, so actually let's do a note here. So we got well, actually, should I not? I shouldn't give them a tick, should I? I should give them an unhappy face. Marcus, Yvette, Jonathan, Matt, and Christopher. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll give them an email, and then I'll give them a phone call probably tomorrow if they haven't replied to that. So we should be making, so that's the 11th, so that's sometime midweek, I think, isn't it, that everyone's made some initial contact on that forum, and so that would be just an initial hello, and maybe have a go at the baker exercise. And then the next thing is to arrange maybe a couple of live sessions. You're not going to get probably a session when everyone can make it at the same time, so arrange to make a couple. So the 11th is going to be, yeah, so we'll check up on you for next Sunday, okay? So try and get a online discussion going. So let's have a look at that. So that's going to be here. Okay, so for me, I'm looking under resources, and I am looking for, I thought I was looking at resources, modeling activity. Oh yeah, there we go, modeling activity. So that this is another way where we got all the modeling stuff all put together. So you'll have a online, so that's been set up for you there, the modeling online room. And again, I can select which one I want to go to. So we've had no meeting yet, so you join the room there and set up your first meeting, okay? I doubt anyone's done it yet. Yeah. So try and get that done this week. Maybe arrange for a meeting during the week sometime, and maybe one at the weekend, so you can try and capture people. Okay. So we want to get, maybe it doesn't have to be a big deal, just 5 minutes hello and go on the online. It'd be good if you could get mics so you could talk to one another via online. And then the other thing would be to go to the wiki and again do some kind of initial manipulation of the wiki. A minor edit, even if it's just a space change to one of the titles. Okay, so for that, let's go back there again. So modeling activity, and then we got the modeling wikis, and again you can see we've got different groups. So it's very straightforward. It's a little bit like SharePoint, if you come across that, or WordPress, one of these sort of like easy to use HTML website editor type things, or very similar to using a Word really, and posting and forums and stuff. So we've got the sections that we're expecting you to have set up, and that's going to be assessed there. So what I suggest you do is just go on to edit a section, and then make a comment in there. And what happens is all edits like that are then stored, and tutor, okay, I can see here, that's Jan's been. A tutor can then sort of like press one of these buttons down here, and they can see who's edited what, if you made the initial contribution to the wiki, and so on. Okay, so that's how that's assessed. Right, so try and set the challenge that you've gone into one of them, even if it's just to make an inane comment in a particular section, like delete Ian was here. So we set that as a target for next week, yeah, and I'll check up on engagement. And what you're doing now really is you want to be looking at the starting work to use your first model. Using the wiki and the forum are kind of considered mandatory. Using the online room is not considered mandatory, so that's not being assessed. In fact, I think I will not go on the online room. So if you want to discuss things, then don't feel that you're being monitored, unless there's a complaint from a student. As we've seen the wiki. So this is the update from last Wednesday's. Oh, should need to get rid of Jan's name there. Careful. So so everything's ready, good to go. If you go to the book, you can read about the modeling cycle, so you can have a read there, and that's then reflected into these chapters. I perhaps maybe stick a junk or an appendix section in here, so you could use that. I think you should be able to add sections without any problems. Create new page probably, or oh no, here, add new section. And what we got then? Let's go back to the important bits of the timeline. So we've got to the 3rd of March. So that particular week is when you've been allocated just to work, I think, in your groups. And then you've got the 24th, week 24th, 7th of April, when you should be reviewing what you've done as a model. So that's coming up to the point when you're going to be preparing your write-up. Don't quote me on these exact dates because they'll probably shift, but the wiki will be frozen around about the 14th of April. So stuff that you've put on the wiki there can be cut and pasted, but they won't be added on, and that's when the marking process for the wiki is undertaken. And then we've got the 2nd of May for the submission of your report. So your first model is likely to be exactly the same in your subgroup. Slightly being cut off here, but that's fine. So that's then week, not week. And in the previous tutorial I went through the timeline, so if you want to get my comments on that in more depth, then go there. And the PDF was sent out to you. As I said, some of these dates might not be correct, so they are my interpretation of looking through your website, in particular frozen. When the wiki will exactly get frozen, I can't exactly say. And the problem that we're doing is the same problem that we did as the exercise in the previous tutorial, so we don't need to go over that again. But as your starting point, you there, what I want you to do is everyone individually, I recommend we do this individually, everyone individually do a sketch, okay, of the problem. So the problem is a child on a swing, okay, and that they're going to release an object and it's going to fall. You've got to establish the safe area. So do your own sketch, make that into an image, and then I would recommend that we maybe have a junk section or a new page where you then upload that sketch by you, and that you go through the process that we did in the last tutorial of coming up with 21. If we keep it 21, it makes it fair for everyone. So you come up with 21 features yourself, and that you and that you're going to upload them to the forum and also to the wiki in this case. But I would recommend that you with your features, so this could be like your first exercise as a subgroup modeling group, your features, that you order them so that feature number 1, whatever it might be assumption, it might be a variable, is something that's the most important. So have a brainstorm so that you come up with 21 features, yeah, and then order them so that the feature number 1 is the most important feature. And this will help when you come to do your report. It's not a requirement, but it does make things easier in terms of model development and also in terms of reassessment of assumptions, that the assumptions have been ordered in order of importance. So if you've ordered your features in order of importance, then the ones that you pick out to be your assumptions, then they will drop out as a set of assumptions which you believe to be at your initial stage to be the most important assumption, which would be useful. So what I suggest we do is that you either do a sketch, make an image capture, or if you want to do a more sort of formal sketch, do that of your initial problem, that you come up with your Victoria's already done this, so pretty much come up with your 21 features, put them in order of importance, and that you upload that to both the forum and also to your wiki. And as your first challenge as a sub-modeling group would be to then decide on well, how you are then what features that you're going to take forward to be your first model, okay? And when you take them forward, you're then going to have to make decisions of who's got it right in terms of order of importance, so you can have a bit of a discussion about that, which are the most important features, which are features which are essentially irrelevant, and then which features that you're going to make into parameters, variables or assumptions. So I think that would be a good starting point. I would be aiming that everyone's sort of engaged with this, not by next Sunday but the Sunday after. I think that's a sort of fair timeline, but it's kind of up to you in terms of your subgroup. I mean, it could be that Victoria and who else we got there? No one here today, but it could be that Victoria's group, for example, might want to knock this out this week because they seem to be a bit more engaged than perhaps your group, Steve, for example. Okay. So as I said, well, actually it's already 40 minutes past, but that's all this morning's tutorial was about. Have you got any questions? So I've got to go away and chase up absentees and try and get them to go onto the forum as a starting point. Any questions? Else we can leave it there. And is it relatively clear what we're trying to do with the feature and the sketch? Okay. Okay, well, thanks very much for turning up. Hopefully your subgroups will be and you can find a more appropriate time when everyone can meet up. And if you've got issues, you can obviously use me as your honest broker. Okay. Cool. Okay. Thanks, guys. Then I'll put this up. Make this recording visible, and I'll put this up on YouTube as well. Thanks.